Hello and welcome back. I've got another video here. We're going to be going over the predictions I made in the first part of the Rio Major, the last collection of RMRs that came together to decide who were going through to the Legends and who was going through to the Challenger stage. So up on screen now are my results. As you can see, there were a couple of teams I got 100% right, a couple of teams their positions weren't 100%, and some that went awry. Now, I think the standout ones that we should pay attention to here that made it through in the end, and we'll start by looking at those who made it through to the Legend stage, are Sprout. Now, I picked them as a team who I thought could potentially make it through. I thought they had a decent lineup. Some players on there like Zyphon and Refresh, which I liked the look of. I thought it was a nice little mixed team that they had going on there. Well, Shock Horror, they managed to get a direct through to the Legend stage, which I did not see coming through. I actually said in the video I thought they had a good chance of making it. It was a bit of a risky pick, but I didn't think they'd make the top four. And Shock Horror, they did. In here as well, we've got Ents. Ents, a semi-finalist of the last major, of course. And they went through with flying colours. I thought it might be a little bit too early for them to make it straight through to the Legend stage. They're still in the build-up stage. I think the original interview from Snappy was that he was hoping to be by 70% and he'd just make it through, and then by the latter stages of this event that he'd be on the roll. Well, he certainly started rolling, so congratulations to them. Heroic also making it through. I had them right on the edge of making it to the Legends. I wasn't sure that they'd be able to actually get all their firepower on the same page. Tess really stood up. Cadian was quite consistent, made some really good calls, and they deserved their spot. Liquid got their spot. Enough said. Here we have a look at the Challenges stage, and these are all the teams that made it through. So we've got Cloud9 and Vitality. I had them picked to make it to the Legend stage. Unfortunately, they faltered a little bit, and they've landed themselves into this next section. Now, I don't think they have anything to worry about. I actually reckon for your pick'ems, you should have these guys as your 3 and O's, one of these two guys, because I've done a quick look through, and when we get to the Legends predictions of who's actually going to qualify, I will qualify what I'm saying a little bit more, but these guys I reckon are going to be 3 and 0. Bad News Eagles, Gamers Legion, and Big. These are 3 teams I didn't have going through. Now, when I actually did my original predictions, speaking about Big, I didn't even realise they had a stand-in, and I said that they probably wouldn't get it through. Now, they played pretty good, even with the stand-in. The stand-in held their own. There's an interview currently up on HOTV, I believe. You can see even they were shocked about how good he played. So good on them, actually. I didn't have a lot of faith in Searson. I thought he was fantastic a couple of years ago. But I've seen the drop-off, and I worried that they wouldn't be able to do it, but they did it. Good effort. Bad News Eagles, I had picked as a potential team to make it through alongside Astralis and Fours, I believe. And in general, they played pretty good. They had some great fragging and good effort on them. The one team that I didn't see making it through at all, and man, did they play lights out. I wonder, though, is that all that they have to offer was Gamer Legion. Now, they took FaZe to overtime. They knocked out G2, which was absolutely shocking. And actually put up here, I was so confident in those days' results, I put a accumulator bet on only a tenner, would have got me 69 quid. I thought it'd be hilarious in the video to say I won 69 quid. Backfired that, didn't it? And G2 lost. I have no more to say on that. And Outsiders being the last one coming from EU. Now, elsewhere in the world, we had the Americas RMR as well as the Asia qualifiers as well. Over there, we had IHG returning. The Mongols are back. And Greyhound, the Australian lineup, they're also back. It was a very weak field over there. I don't expect any of these teams to do anything. And I'll tell you who your 0-3s might be soon. EG was a bit of a shock. They played half decent. A lot of their stars turned up. Breeze looked really, really quite good. Which is, I mean, that's what you'd expect from a player, but he hasn't been great. See my CSGO Vanity Project video on EG. You can find out what I feel about that. Furia, 9Z00 Nation also making it through that. This was the Americas one, and as you can see, only one North America team actually made it through that, other than Liquid, who should have been a hard lock. And Imperial made the last-minute run. They had to beat 2 teams. They had to beat Pain, and they had to beat Complexity. And they basically made it, they did the longest route possible to make it to this major in Rio. Good effort on them. I didn't expect them to get through. If I'd done a video on that section, which I'm not really interested, and I didn't watch many of these games, I probably would have said Imperial wouldn't have made it through. I thought complexity or pain could have beat both of them, but Imperial won it, so well played. It would be nice to see more Brazilians at the Rio Major. So, my Legends predictions, and I'm just going to whack them right up on screen again, okay? And these are the people who I think are going to make it through. A little bit controversial, as I have 3 South American teams making it. There are some notable teams that aren't featuring here, including Mouse, Big, EG, even though I've just talked them up a little bit, I don't think they're going to make it. Imperial, even though I've just talked them up a little bit, I don't think they're going to make it. Because the matches I did watch, what I did see, and from what I understand, I think the 3 South American teams I picked are the top 3 South American teams currently in that region. Furia, 00 Nation, and 9Z. And even then, I reckon they're probably going to be scraping by on a 3-2. I don't think any of these guys are going to be blinding through. They're going to have maybe a bit of early momentum, but I've done a really, really quick mirror matchup of how it's probably going to go. If they're doing it by the seedings off HLTV, then this is what I've based my predictions off. I think this is where these 3 teams are probably going to land. Other teams I have making it through, Fnatic, OG. Both of these teams looked pretty good in the early stages, rather consistent in their play. They had some tough matchups. They've got great firepower. The OG lineup has Nexa at the helm. I thought he captained the team very well. Could have been in the legend stage if they'd beaten Heroic. But Heroic, I think, gave a lot to get to where they're at. OG given a little bit more time to reset. They've got great firepower. I think they got some of the best firepower in the Challenger stage, aside from Cloud9 and Vitality, and I think they should make it through quite comfortably. Fnatic, I love what Messi's doing. His team also could be coming in a 3-2 squad at the expense of one of these other 9Z teams, or he could also, his squad, be tripped up by someone like a Big or a Mouse who are on the periphery. But I think with the Big stand-in situation, and with Mouse's inexperience with 3 players who have never been at this level of performance before, and Dexter, who also hasn't made it deep into these type of tournaments either, I think there's a high opportunity for these kind of guys to falter. And if they're going to falter, it's going to be against teams with better firepower, which are plenty about, including teams like 9Z, they look great, or with experience, Furia and 00 Nation. Outsiders, I hate fucking watching them play. It is some of the most boring shit you'll ever see. Go watch the Outsiders Vitality match. I don't know if it was in this tournament. It might have been in EPL. Oh, it was excruciating. They had like 9 saves in 12 rounds or something stupid. Oh, it was horrible. But the firepower is good. They're consistent. They're a horrible team to play. They have an opening round matchup against Mouse. I think they stand a great chance of closing that one out and just progressing on forward. Do I think they can beat a Cloud9 and Vitality? Probably not. I thought they're going to be like a 3-1 candidate, but I think a strong 3-1 candidate. And on a good day, they could definitely upset a shaky Cloud9. If Vitality don't get their stars firing on all cylinders, then there could be some worry. I think they're a hard lock, though. That will leave them with the rest of the group, as you can see on the right side of this graphic I've created. I'm quite confident in this, honestly. I think, although it seems strange to have picked someone like 9Z and 00 Nation to go through, they've played quite consistently, they play quite convincingly in tight matches and stomps as well from both of these lineups. There are weak teams that are in that challenger stage that don't have the experience. Like I said, BNE, although they seem to love an upset, again, this is the kind of stage where they're going to get found out because they haven't done much throughout the rest of the year. EG, although they have firepower and it showed up, Nealon looked pretty snappy with some of his sprays. This is where these kind of players tend to falter. Although they have Malik back, apparently he's not directly at the helm, so I don't know how these personalities are going to thrive under the pressure they're put under. Automatic still looks legit. That guy's a G. I like him. I'd love to see him on maybe a better lineup. He could definitely do some damage on an international lineup elsewhere. But I do wonder if EG start losing early, a Circuit Breach is going to slip back into mediocrity like they have for the last 3 years. There's definitely a possibility, and I don't think that Hexed and Nealon are going to be the two that are going to fire these kids up. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, the pick'ems aren't out yet. As soon as they are, I'll come back. I'll do a real quick pick'ems video, as I've touched on much of my predictions in this video, but just so we could all see the little icons go into their boxes, yeah, and it's immortalised within the game, as well as with my voice and with this graphic and everything I've said. We'll do it again, but like I said, there's some pretty obvious 0-3s out there. Unless these lineups have any catastrophes in the meantime, or any roster changes that come out of nowhere, I'm pretty happy with my predictions. If it does happen, it'll be updated in that video when the pick'ems launch. And that's what I have to say on this. I've made some risky choices there, but I feel confident. That didn't sound very confident when I said that. Feel free to rip me to shreds in the comments. I'd love to hear from it. If you think I'm an idiot, tell me. Type KKKKKK for all the other Brazilian lineups I didn't put in. Fantastic. I'd love to hear it. And I'll catch you for the next line of predictions and review on my previews. Thank you.